We're live?
This is it. This is
Woohoo!
the big moment.
Here we go.
All right.
And this is going to be weird because you guys, we talk about this a little bit ahead of time. You actually want to have me on here as you're going to talk about a little bit of serious stuff. And I'm wearing my McRib shirt today.
That's some serious stuff.
Yeah. Tough.
I noticed
Is McRibs back?
Yeah.
It's not till, I can look it up and tell you exactly when it's going to be back.
No, but he knew off the top of his head. Go ahead. When is it?
It'll be around Christmas time. It always is.
Well, okay, I've tried one, and they are the very devil, I think.
Oh, I agree.
They are the
Okay.
what?
Yeah.
Very devil. Like, they are the worst thing.
Oh no
I've
no no
ever
No,
tasted.
Randy.
The devil
Oh
in
my
the
God.
fact, the devil in the fact
temptation.
that it's so much so tempting. It's something
Ugh.
you gotta have.
Randy loves the McRib.
Disgusting.
You can go there and get not just the McRib meal, but if you, after like the first 2 weeks, I think it is, if you buy a second McRib, you get it for $1.
You know why? They got to get rid of those bad boys.
Well, I'll help them.
Disgusting.
He has been the biggest McRib fan since I've ever known him, and it was great. I saw his shirt today, and I'm like, oh my God.
I got
When
this
is
for
the McRib
Christmas.
back? He
I got
goes-
this for Christmas.
He goes,
So
what's
yeah.
coming in Christmas?
The best part about McRibs,
is when they.
the sign always says, McRibs is back.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it McRibs
McRib?
are
back.
But why is it McRibs S?
McRibs is back.
Is
I don't know,
back.
but either say McRib is back or McRibs are back. And I
This
feel like that's just
feels like a
general
commentary on the
grammar.
American
This is not the
educational
topical,
system.
important stuff we wanted to talk about. However, to some people, including my husband, it is very, very important. He loves those damn things, as
Oh,
well
yeah.
as those Christmas pies or whatever. They
Oh,
bring back.
yeah, any of that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. And I take mine without the onion or pickle.
Well,
and
I'm
then
sure
the
Marcy
sauce is in there.
appreciates
I
that.
I wipe it up with my fries and eat that.
Oh. You know what it reminds me of something that was served in school. Like they
That's
call,
probably why I hate it.
yeah, it was the rib. I don't know. We called it riblets.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
school.
and you can
But it
get-
was just that little
You can
slab
get
of meat.
riblet patties like at stores, in the frozen section. It's not the same.
Doesn't compare.
Well, aren't they
Not
supposed to
even-
have bones?
It's simulated bones in them.
There we go. And that's why I
That's what
am
makes it
not a
Mick.
fan. Yeah. So,
Probably grind it up so fine that you can't taste the bone.
Oh.
Anyway,
ugh.
it's all protein.
All right. So, of course, we're divided on that. It's not surprising. I think human nature is to say your opinion, and there are always two sides of the fence. Cilantro or no?
I like it, but my daughter thinks it tastes like soap.
Thank you. Me too. Cilantro.
Indifferent.
Really?
Indifferent. It does.
I think you're the
I have-
first person I've ever
I
talked
have,
to that's indifferent.
I have, my taste buds are such that, well, let me ask you, celery.
love celery.
Yeah.
Not
I
alone.
would
You
rather
gotta
cut
dunk
my
it in
thumb off than eat a piece of celery.
Stringy.
It's water. It's like
stringy
straight.
goodness.
No. See, that's it. My taste buds tell me that this is something that it tastes like I'm sticking my mouth in the ground in a garden and chewing on dirt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I always tell people that someday when I die and go to hell, which is pretty much preordained,
We all are. Yeah.
there will be nothing there for me to eat but coconut and celery and mushrooms,
Yum.
and all the clothes and furniture will be made out of styrofoam.
Oh.
So I get that squeaking noise. That'll be my version of hell.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But okay, so it just goes to show that there are normally you either fall on one side of something or another, which is very relatable when we're talking about this topic, right?
Yes. So the topic
that
in and
down.
of itself, though, is, I guess, rebel rousing.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to call it that too, because the subject matter that we're going to talk about is in regards to Mark Philpott's address to the city council, and that wasn't exactly rebel rousing. That was straight up racism, and I'm trying to still kind of comprehend exactly what he was trying to say to the city council, but my gist of it was the matter was brought to their attention, and they didn't give it the attention that it deserved.
So someone, and we'll say it's a rabble rouser, but I think that when I define that, a rabble rouser is somebody who just wants to kind of stir the pot. They're a shit stick, right? They just want to have their voice heard, even
Yeah.
though they know it may not be something anyone wants to hear. They just don't give a shit. They just want to say it, right?
They're causing trouble to cause trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
It was, in our opinion, a racist email
Yeah.
to the city council, right?
And I don't think there's too much of opinion about it. I mean, I certainly don't follow the news in the same way that most people do.
Sure.
I kind of glance at things and get a gist of what's going on, move on to the next thing.
Right.
Randy's
from-
busy.
I got things to do.
Yep. Eat
when
ribs.
yeah, I got a plan for my McRib schedule. But from what I read of it, this was not just an opinion. This was a flat-out, blatant N-word, etc.
Yeah, racist
email
email, yeah.
saying that we can't follow any of these things that are set up with the city council of Juneteenth and Martin Luther King Drive, etc. Any of that stuff, because it's absolutely it's white hatred,
It's anti-white.
and
So I think that what Mark Philpott, no, is he a doctor?
No.
No, okay. Mark Philpott.
I don't think so.
Which
Sorry
doesn't-
if you are, Mark.
Yeah, okay, so either
Sorry.
way, it doesn't diminish your words or your
No.
opinion, but what I think he was saying, and I hope that I'm not wrong, if I am, feel free to correct me, and hopefully we can have him on at some point.
Yeah,
to
we
kind
are.
of
We're
yeah.
going to reach out to him. He's.
But I think what he was saying was, as human rights activism, as the Human Rights Commission, as a city like Quincy, even though this person who obviously has hate in his heart doesn't necessarily deserve the attention that maybe the city council could have given him, but he wanted them to at least acknowledge the email. Because he's saying that, and again, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but to not acknowledge it and to allow debate is either ignoring the issue, which isn't good, or it's saying that we're okay with it. I don't know if I have that 100% correct,
No, I think
but
you
I
have
think
that-
that's kind of
I
what
think
I
that's
gathered.
exactly what he was saying, and
Yeah.
he makes a great
Fantastic point.
But at the same time, coming from where we come from in the news, and we have the constant rebel rousers in the comment section, saying how Muddy River News sucks, but we don't give them the attention that they're dying to have.
They don't deserve the podium. So when you send an email like that, if you do get the podium, it should be in a room full of supporters and
detractors.
adversaries, right? So,
Yeah.
so that you can have a debate. And I think the purpose of Mark's email or his statement, letter to the editor, whatever it was basically saying we should have given him the opportunity to speak, even if it were in a room full of people who were ready to debate this fellow. I think that's
Yeah.
a good thing. I don't necessarily think city council is the place for it.
I
But-
would imagine this person, and they didn't name who it was, as I understand
No,
it.
and I believe he was invited to.
Yeah.
And
I'm
he
sure he
said
was
no.
invited, and I'm sure he said, "Oh no, I'm not going to get in front of people and say that."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, okay, United States of America, freedom of speech, anybody can say anything they want, but there are
Consequences.
consequences to
100%.
things you say and what you do. Gosh, look at well, let's take the extreme end of it, the KKK.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are folks that still go out and put on the white hoods and go out and do their thing. It's America; they've got the right to do that. But again, there are consequences to your actions.
Yeah, I imagine if they were parading that around, Washington Park per se, they would have,
Yeah, and
Investigation.
it, the detractors to that, which good for you all. When no matter which side it is, when violence comes into it, that's when it's wrong. Yeah, go protest it. Go say no, we disagree with this, but you can't start getting into fights with this people or in any way, shape, or form. It's a matter of peaceful protest, of saying no, I disagree with you.
yeah,
But somebody somewhere, emotions get into it, and somebody somewhere is going to start lobbing a rock.
yeah.
Speaking of which, I know that I just compared, like comment section to racism, and that's not like.
No, we get it. It's not-
It's not the same.
it's not apples to
And
apples,
we are three white people sitting up here talking about racism and addressing that. So that's probably something that might not look great by saying, "Hey, do you address it?" Or do you not give them the attention? We're just questioning it. I'm not saying, we ignore that, because I do agree with, shaming people. And
Yeah, I was
obviously,
gonna
I'm
say-
like the creator of the comment of the month. I love to shame.
Yeah.
But I'm just questioning. It's like, do we give them the attention? And the other, in regards to us being, three white people, let's look at our city council board. They're all white.
Yeah.
Maybe and I'm not trying to excuse the topic, but it's hard sometimes, I think, for white people to even address racism when it comes to matters like that. You
Sure.
know, like, do we stir that? I don't know.
But I also think you can be, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go
I also think you can be three white people who think
Yes.
that there's an issue with
No,
this
I
email.
absolutely, I think we do.
Yeah.
I think
And
we do. I'm just saying,
so
it's
to say that
tiptoeing around a subject.
Yes, and it's always kind of been this thing where when we speak out against racism, it's like, well, nobody listens to you because you're three privileged.
Yes,
which,
exactly.
Okay, but I think that we can be who we are, where we are, and still not agree with this and still speak our mind on it. I think it would be really nice to have Mark on to hear his point.
Yeah.
I think that's how we do things right. I also think that it's how people learn to see the other side of, how people live, what you experience. Why do you think the way you think about this email? Why do you think that it should be spoken about? Why, City Council, did you not speak about it? And my hunch is that there's a fairly understandable, maybe not good, but understandable reason why they didn't want to bring it up, because it really doesn't deserve attention. But also, to Mark's point, it deserves attention because addressing it may be the only way to learn from it, right?
and help quell that a little bit.
But some people may not be
Good word.
able to be quelled.
Thank you.
So I understand. I understand both sides as much as I can. I don't know why the city council chose not to address it. I also don't know why, in particular, that Mark Philpott wants it to be addressed. I understand the kind of nuances about things, but that is human nature. You
also don't want to address it and like bring that to other people's attention where they say, "Oh, I don't want that." Like I don't know.
It's a really weird line between, do we address racism to help solve it, or do we not address it to help solve it? It's
Well,
a
if
very
you're
strange
just
line.
ignoring it, then and it's not going to get any better.
But I think sometimes when you ignore something that doesn't deserve attention, it will eventually go away. And I'm not equating that to racism.
Or will it
but
sit there and fester?
See, that's what I'm like. I just don't know the best way to do it. I don't have the answers. I am saying that as a human being, I understand probably if I sat down and talked to both, I would understand where each of them are coming from. But since I haven't, that is shame on me, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I can tell you in my instance, I'll be 65 this year. That hurts.
Kidding.
My parents were older when they had me. My parents grew up in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and racism was and still is a very real thing at that point. I can tell you, we lived at the corner of 30th and College when I was growing up, and about a half block down from us, down College Street, I remember in probably 67 or 68, my dad came in one day and said, "Did you hear what's happening? There's a colored family moving in down the street." And I thought, yeah, and I think it's something that's taught. It's taught, and I can also remember, I can exactly remember the day that my third grade teacher addressed the class and said, now because of this integration thing that's happening, we are going to be having, again, a colored girl coming into our class.
And she said that too. At that
And she
time.
said that too.
Yeah, it was just like
To her credit, the teacher said,
Yeah.
"Now everybody, I want you all to treat her exactly the same as you treat
Yeah.
the person sitting next to you right now."
That's
That
just
was
the
the word. That was
language
one of the words that was used at that time.
And it's unfortunate, but it is so. And to ignore
Exact-
it,
that-
that was a ridiculous remark. I'm not saying to ignore it, but maybe we need to figure out how to address it and not just address everybody who has, who takes umbrage with the way things are, things that are dealt with in this community, because there is a way to address it. There is a way to acknowledge it. Maybe reading an email like that is not the right way, because I think people like that should definitely just be not the message, the person. Like, if you can't
get your point across.
without hate and tact, it's like other people in this community.
What
You
was
don't
your
deserve
point?
a pedestal.
Well, I still say it has to be acknowledged. It has to be dealt with. If you shove it into the shadows, it will sit there and just grow, and you know, that person is going to be friends with this person. They're going to share their ideas, and eventually they're both going to think that way. And it's going to keep going. The only way to get rid of that stuff is to bring it out in the open and, you know, try to work with people and make them understand that not everybody that is this type of person or this type of person is a bad person.
Yeah.
I mean,
But do you think that that's a logical thought process in today's divisive world?
I would hope it's a logical process.
Politically,
I mean,
politically, I mean, with everything going on, it almost seems like everything is on the basis of you either think this way or this way.
oh, it's
and it
totally
doesn't,
that way.
right?
And the only way that stuff is going to get better is people talking and you know, this person says it's my way or the highway. This person says my way or the
Yeah.
highway, and that ain't how it works.
No.
I mean, take that attitude back to you know, my grandparents' time when politicians actually talked to each other, and people who were Democrats or Republicans actually talked to each other. And yeah, I disagree with you, but you know, that's your opinion. That's not how it is
I
now.
think we should just
and-
go to the 1, 2, 3, draw. Right? But, no, I'm kidding. Of course, we don't want
10
gun
pace,
violence.
10 pace,
But
back-to-back 10 paces, yeah.
But I think there's a weird juxtaposition between like what's important for our city council to address. What do we want to focus on? Is this something that they should now the Juneteenth and the Martin Luther King signs? Of course, everyone in our community should have a say, but the way you do that is vote. Not send in shitty emails to the city council if you don't agree with things. And if you are going to send an email, which you are, you know, that's your right. I would hope that you are adult enough to use language that is,
Appropriate.
well, appropriate, but also like you can say things in the way, you can use tactful language to prove your opinion.
I think your
Oh,
opinion
yeah,
I think his
yeah.
opinion also went out the door after using this language.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that might be part of the
Yeah.
reason why the city council decided not to address that, because if you can't use appropriate language, like especially in this regards, then I mean, is your opinion even valid? You know, can you even
Yeah.
make
And
a point with all that hate?
No room for
Again, from
hate.
what I read about it, it's a pretty extreme opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no room for hate. There is room for learning. There's room for addressing it, like you said. There's room to
And I think one of his comments was about Martin Luther King and you know, what a terrible, horrible person he was. Well, you know, I'm sure he wasn't perfect. I didn't know the guy. I don't know
to
everything
err is
about him.
Human.
Yeah, to err is human, exactly. I'm sure he wasn't the best person in the entire human civilization, and I'm not either. Nor none of us in
I'm
this
pretty perfect.
building. I'm pretty
But he
close
stood for
myself.
something. He stood for something, and he
but-
represents something.
Should
Yeah.
be acknowledged.
Yeah, he's a human being, and turn the mirror on that gentleman that sent in the email. Let him see what kind of a person he is.
I mean, if he wants to lead an entire movement that changes the face of our world, maybe people will listen to him. But until then, shut the fuck up. Right? Or don't. I don't care. But I mean,
STFU.
right? It's like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He stood for something that was bigger than himself.
Yes.
And I think that that's really important to acknowledge. I think you're not going to go to a city, especially a small community, without finding Dr. Martin Luther King Drive or
Yeah,
Road. You're just
yeah.
not, because he did have a profound impact, whether you like the fellow individually or not. He did. So I acknowledge that. I also acknowledge that people have their own opinions. I acknowledge that Mark Philpott he's got a great point. How we do that is where I'm like, I would love to talk to him. Like, how do we breach the subject of acknowledging these issues without putting these idiots on a pedestal?
Yes. I look forward to that.
Right?
Speaking of pedestals,
Ooh!
better pedestals.
Dun, dun, dun.
That
Better
was a great
pedestals.
segue, sis.
I tried.
Yeah, it was freaking awesome.
I
All
didn't-
right.
I didn't even say segue.
Segue.
All right. So pedestals. We get to talk to our next guest, who I don't know if the winners stand on podiums or pedestals, but I know they get
They should.
trophies. and-
He's nodding. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right. And it's a great community event that we're getting ready to talk about, especially since we were just talking about the hashtag street racing.
Ooh.
Ashley and I spoke on Coffee Talk, and we let you know to your comments hey, why don't they have just a place for these kids to do this, to go fast? They do.
You're
it's
in
the
luck.
Quincy Grand Prix, and we're getting ready to talk about it.
Love it.
What have you been missing on Muddy River Gems? You won't believe your eyes. My crew and I have been bringing you stories for more than 20 years on PBS and now Muddy River News. And we're just getting started.
I wish we could acknowledge the drawing in the room.
Be my
no, we don't want to
Be
get
my
in trouble,
guest.
I guess, but it's a pretty cool drawing. We'll leave it. Hey, maybe we'll show it at the end for people who stick with us. That'd be cool. Okay. Also, we want to acknowledge these badass glasses Brittany has on.
Aren't
All
they
right.
cool?
That comes secondary. All of that comes secondary to our pal Jeff Scott.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Thanks for joining us.
You're totally lying. When you walked up, you were like, okay? So join the club, Club Muddy, and also the club of these gals who are like, can we just get a break? However, I think you have more on your plate right now than probably most people in Quincy as far as tasks to check off.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I don't even have a checklist anymore.
You don't?
I don't
No.
have. Hold on.
There.
Okay.
All right.
He says nay
Are we
to
just-
those
are we
glasses.
just-
You look like a criminal.
Okay, so a checklist. You don't have one. You just keep it all in your brain?
I try. Yes.
Oh, good luck to you. All right, so before we get to, of course, you're here to talk about the Grand Prix of Karting, which is one of the coolest, and I think we were talking before, it's one of the things that brings everybody together in Quincy,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Yeah. Before we get to that, though, we want your take,
Hot
take, if you will,
Okay.
on our conversation before. So you were sitting, stage left, stage right, whatever it is, to our previous segment, and we were talking about the rabble rousers, the people who just like to create shitstorms. And we don't want to put the feller who sent the email in that category because he may have his own opinions. Fine. But he went about the wrong way, in my opinion, also Brittany's opinion, right? What are your thoughts?
I would agree.
Okay,
If you're going to send an email like that, it needs to be professional, to be taken seriously.
right.
Yeah, language like that just throws it out the door.
Yeah.
Do you get emails, or I guess I would say hate mails by any means? Obviously not along those lines, but just, hey, I went to Scotty's and blah, 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 blah. Do you address those?
Oh, yes.
All right.
So like Google reviews, I take those personally. Like that's my business. We've been there 89 years. So
Ooh,
whether it's 5
congratulations.
stars, thank you. I got one the other day, it was 2 stars, and it says something about not for kids under 6. And I'm like, well, how do I even respond to that? Because there are things for them to
Ball
do.
Say
City.
yes, huh?
But I'm like, really, 2 stars? So I have yet to respond to that because I
Gotta
really
figure it
think
out.
about it and try to see what they're trying to tell us. But yeah, we respond to those, definitely.
That's really good that you
Yeah.
take a step back too, like you just said. Like if I saw that about my own personal business, I'd be like,
be
and
like,
I
yes,
want
huh?
to. But yeah, taking a step back and being like, hey, how should I respond? That's like the step back thing is what we need to do in every aspect of everything that we do. I feel like
Yeah.
that quick reaction. I know I do it all the time.
I do too.
I know that I don't like radio silence when I should probably just think about the next thing that I'm going to say. But yeah, I think that step back, that's the key to a successful business, and you obviously run one.
Thank you.
So not only with your business, but you had something that was very newsworthy a while back, which was your bike riding ventures plus, right? Not
Yes.
necessarily an adventure, but definitely a close call.
Close call. I would say 8 or 10 inches away from me at 50, 60 miles an hour on a 4-lane highway out by Scotty's,
Did you
actually.
pee your pants?
I did not.
I would've.
So I wear a mirror. I ride 2 or 3 times a week, a lot of miles. You get accustomed to those cars whizzing by you at 50 or 60 miles an hour. I knew that was going to be close. I myself was at 38 miles an hour, and there's rumble strips. So I'm like, do I chance going over the rumble strips on a bike?
No.
Or do I just see how close this is going to be? So I did later, and I was missed, and I was able to actually, I could probably ID'd the driver, but I do use a camera that records everything. So we were able to get a license plate. Deputies went out and talked to the driver, and they apologized. And it was just one of those where there was a lot of traffic, and the car in front of them moved over at the last second. But it had like 30,000 views in 12 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just it wasn't, I was more just, hey, it's bike season, just give us the room. We want to go home to our families,
Yeah.
just as much as you're trying to get home to yours.
Yeah.
So
And you know what's funny about that? Because I think that when we're talking about the different lanes on the side of the road, and I'm speaking figuratively with opinions, people are divided between bikers having the right of way as far as like on a highway or blah, blah, blah. Like they don't all agree, which is fine. The thing that stuck out to me when you just said that was did you meet her, or was she just?
I did not.
Okay. But she was confronted with police, but also like the actual life that she could have
Yes.
changed, right?
Right.
So I think about, I'm not saying that I've never bitched about bikes going down in front of me because, you know, when I'm in a hurry, which I always am, I'm like, get away.
Yeah.
But if you think about the human life in front of you, and I think this applies to so much more than just biking or anything, it's like if you think about that individual as an actual person with a family,
Yeah.
it's a little easier to swallow that you may not agree with what they're doing, but give them some frickin' space.
Yes.
Right?
And like I said, by riding, I use a mirror, 10 or 15 seconds normally is all it takes for the traffic to clear. If we're on a 2-lane road or something, it doesn't take very long. We're not holding you up.
People don't want to break
20
on
minutes.
the highway, and it's crazy because right now with all the traffic, you know, I'm going to and from Hannibal, and it's not just the extra minutes to go to Hannibal, but all that traffic is diverted there, so you're like side by side with people. There is no passing, and it's weird because people don't understand. Like, I mean, I understand it's highway driving, but you brake on the highway when there are people in front of you.
It's a human life.
Braking.
It doesn't matter if you agree with what they're doing or why they're doing it. It's a human life, and let's be a little more, let's have a little grace, right?
Yeah.
We talked about earlier, nothing's as important as the life that's in front of you or in your car, and God forbid you take a life of someone, that would be just absolutely just the worst feeling. So
Also, it was very cool of you. Like, I know you acknowledged she was apologetic.
Yeah.
And we talked about this. We chatted a little bit about this in the past. It's just very nice that you accepted the, like,
Yes.
you know, it's not very, you know, some people can't do that.
Right.
So.
And like I
she
said,
did-
I saw the situation, and actually, it was my wife was actually leaving our driveway, so she saw it all unfold. So she was a wreck, knowing like,
Get
you
off
do
your
that all
bike.
the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you get the lecture to get off your bike after that?
A little bit. She knows it's probably not going to do any good,
Never.
so I'm still going to ride, and it's good for my mental state,
Yeah.
and it's good for my knees. I have bad knees, and that's always been good for me. So.
But it's good that you offer grace, which is very, very cool. You also, I think that you equate like you've always been great with people and understanding, and you have to be really with everything that you do in our community. And I don't want to focus on Scotty's because, of course, that's a mainstay, right? And how many years did you say?
89.
We're going to have you
So
on for the
cool.
big 90,
Okay.
No,
obviously.
party next year.
So,
Is it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Awesome.
all right, I would be so remiss if I didn't mention the loss of your father. I believe that huge loss, not just I believe that was a huge loss, but the foundation that he laid in your grandpa for your family was incredible. So I want to make sure that I mention that. But I think that probably a lot of what you learned came from your family, which is, you know, you learn to have grace with humans, which you have to when you have a place like Scotty's. You have to when you're organizing events like the Grand Prix of Karting. Let's talk about it. Okay, so Grand Prix of Karting.
Laying down a legacy right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So year
Year
two.
2, I thought was going to be easier. It's not. It's not.
No.
I
Feels like-
believe last time we spoke, you were like, I'll have all my stuff together next year.
It's not.
It
All
never
right.
goes that way.
No.
This is a huge, huge event. And so again, we were talking about street racing and whatnot, and I threw you in the mix on our coffee talk saying, you know, we have this with
We have the
you. We
event.
have this with Jeff DeLonge out at the Quincy Raceways. We have racing in specific events and places, and the big part of that is dotting your I's and crossing your T's, because you have so much liability behind you, and you have to organize that. And I want people to appreciate that. So, like, how does that start? Like, where do you start with that?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't remember.
I don't
I'm
even
just doing it.
know where to start. I mean, most people don't realize we truck in 1,500 hay bales. We bring in 2 loads of the plastic barriers that we have to unload. Thank you, QND football team.
Yeah.
But we connect all those, drag them around. It's a 1.1 mile course, so we spread them all out. We actually bought a 3rd semi-load of barriers, so that's just to keep everything safe. I mean, we
Yeah.
stand them up on all the trees, and then both sides of that park are fenced to keep spectators out of the circuit. So yeah, that's just a small part of
Yeah.
what goes on.
The safety is, of course, number one concern, and of course you have to be very diligent, which I can imagine is probably weighing heavy on you as far as tasks to make sure that you have. So outside of that, you not only provide a safe place for people to race, you provide so much fun for our community through, of course, different events, different elements that you bring to the park. So South Park has always been the location for this. You haven't always been the ringleader, right? How many? So it's 2 years. It's just second year. Okay. But how long has it been?
This is, so they've had some breaks here and
Sure,
there.
sure, sure.
But
We're
this
not
is
counting
the
those.
36th year
Yeah.
that we've had the event.
Okay.
Thanks to Gus and Terry Trader for
Mm-hmm.
starting that. I think it was 1970 maybe was the first one. Yeah, so.
I mean, it's a.
I wonder what those go-karts were like then.
So
Not
I remember
not go-karts.
not
Sorry.
necessarily the 70s, but I remember going when I was young, and it was so wild to see these guys, and they were young kids even out there, like just balls to the wall. And I was like, oh my god, I really kind of wanted to get in, but I was a chicken shit, so I was like, I'll just go watch, right?
Yeah, and so there is a class that it's a vintage class, and the carts have to be 25 or 30 years old. And they've changed so much. You know, some of those carts, their feet are like the Nerf bar. There's nothing in front of their feet. There's nothing really protecting them.
Who's racing in these ones?
Guys, so there's like this weekend, they're all racing in Newcastle, Indiana. So they travel.
But they're
The whole country.
seasoned. They know what to do.
They know what
with
they're
those.
doing.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
race
they're
an old
vintage.
one?
I do not.
Do we
shit.
have anybody local that races an old one?
We do. We have a couple. Well, there's actually 4 or 5 guys locally that race them.
That's cool. So you have this class, which is we'll call them the
vintage.
right?
When does vintage racing start?
Oh shoot, they race Sunday. That's
All
all I
right.
can tell you.
Okay. So
big
you
schedule.
so aside from vintage, you have different categories, different classes of how many total race? Okay, back up. It goes Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Saturday morning, it's kind of practice and qualifying till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we have 6 feature events
Okay.
Saturday afternoon. But it's a full day. We have the cornhole tournament going on.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big cornhole fan, but it's
Do you suck?
cornholio.
Cornholio!
Cornholio, right? I don't know what the term is, but I think
I would
you
pull my
draw.
shirt up
I'm
over
pretty
my
sure that's
head,
from Beavis
but-
and Butthead.
Yes. But it's like cornhole, like bags.
It's
type
bags,
event. Yeah.
but you draw for your partner. So I think it's $25 to enter, but you draw for your partner, and it's kind of a round robin.
Where's that going to be at in the park?
So they put that at the bottom of the hill. Last year I think we had 70 players.
Is that like near, so bottom of the hill, is that going to be
Creek
Kind of by the baseball field.
Okay, baseball, soccer field area. That's the other thing. So when you walk into South Park is transformed. I mean, I know everyone knows, or maybe they know their way around South Park, but I thought I knew my way around South Park last year when I went there to volunteer, and it was transformed, and I'm like, oh, where do I go, and which street can I cross? So it was a little crazy. That's what I kind of want you to explain. Like, so that's going to be down there, and you have access to get down there.
Yeah, so the main point to get to what I would say the infield, the main park, is coming up 12th Street. Most people park at Hy-Vee. We'll have the Freedom Fest committee. They'll be parking cars. It's $5
Awesome.
to park. It's free to come into the event.
Awesome.
please don't park in Hy-Vee's parking lot. They need that for their customers.
Right.
So,
So
we,
the parking lot,
yeah, we park
off to the side.
all the grass parking lots. But yeah, 12th Street, and we open up the gate to get across the track every race or 2 races to get into the infield. And most people sit on the big hillside. Our food vendors are there, the beer truck's there. This year, well, actually last year, families can come into the pit area. It can't be where we like run the cards, but we gave away like used tires, so kids are going around getting autographs and getting to meet all the drivers. So
Fun.
it was really cool.
Yeah.
but pay attention to those street crossings because that's, again, safety is the most important. I know
Yes.
at points in time I was trying to get ice and I was like, can I just cross the street? Can I just, and he says, no. There is literally, but no, we do not cross lines and
Yeah.
we do not cross safety, which I do appreciate that because I probably would have got hit by a car.
Well, and if it's your first event,
Me.
well, you know, and I grew up at the track, but things have changed. So it's even if you know, seasoned spectator, such, right? You go in and you're like, oh my gosh, everything's changed. So you have like food vendors, you have beer vendors, you have different events going on for kids and the cornhole and things, and so much. When you walk in, you may be a little intimidated, but there are also people everywhere that will help you figure out where to go, what to do. You have a list of events on your Facebook page. You have so many different things and categories of racers. I mean, it's a very well-oiled, pun intended. It really is a
I'm
well-oiled
laughing
event.
genuinely.
It is, because I think that may only be your second year, but you were involved
Long
every year before that, right?
Yes, you know, I was there as a spectator when I was a
Yeah.
kid, and then I was able to race when I finally turned 18. My dad says I wasn't able to race till I was on my own. But yeah,
He
so I
lied.
would, yeah,
Yeah.
I was able to race it, and so yeah, being around it and us running Quincy Raceways for years kind of gave me that background to what we're doing and promoting.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, one of the new things we're doing this year is a kids Power Wheels race on Friday night. It's free. Just bring your kids' Power Wheels out. Actually, have to get registered so we know how many are coming.
So Friday night you're going to hold something as well.
Yeah, Friday night we've got, like I said, kids' Power Wheels, like ages 6 to 10 or whatever.
What time
it
does
is.
Friday night start?
6 o'clock. 6
6
to
o'clock.
7:30. Then afterwards, we're going to do a little meet and greet.
Cool.
Um,
You can get the driver's autographs
yeah,
at
just
that point in
driver's
time?
autographs at the end of that. So.
So roll through, if you don't mind, kind of the events from Friday, because we want people to know what their weekend should look like. Like, figure out what time you want to get there. It may be Friday first, you know, like first thing, find your spot. And some people camp out. Do they camp
We
out?
have people, we do have a camping area. There's no like camper access.
Right.
But we have
No
people
hookups and stuff, but,
hookups,
yeah.
but we have people that bring their pop-ups and put them up on Thursday to
Heck
mark
yeah.
their spot. Like, this is my spot for the weekend, because you can't bring coolers. You know, if you want to bring in your
BYOB.
20, yeah, you can do
And
that.
encouraging lawn chairs, I guess blankets on the hill, more or
Yes.
less, because you don't want to sit it on an angle, but
And so Friday night's kind of that Friday, the whole day is when racers are showing up. We're getting our pit areas set up and getting our carts pre-checked. And then, so Friday night's kind of just a hangout with the families that are coming for the Power Wheels thing and the meet and greet. Saturday morning, we kick off at like 7:30 for practice.
Nice.
So yeah, we go straight at it.
do you sleep during this weekend?
No, not very much.
I was going to say, he just gets a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
Well, and last year I raced 2 or 3 classes, and I was like, well, I think I have time. So I think I'm in like 6 classes this year.
That's the adrenaline keeping you going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All
and
right.
I have yet to win the park, so I figure more classes, more chances
You
to
don't
win.
want to win because then it looks rigged. You're
No, I
not
wanna
winning.
win. No,
You're not
but-
winning, Jeff.
You
Okay.
can't cheat at this, can
Well,
you? Like
No, but
there's no
he's got an
cheating.
advantage, right? He's been in it forever.
So there's guys way been in it longer
Way
than
mo-
I have.
All right.
Vintage car, remember?
Okay. All right.
How old
so,
were you when you first started? You said 18.
18, but I've been in a go-kart since I was like 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the first time you
was a
turned
long
the
time
keys,
ago.
6 or 7?
Oh yeah,
And
He's got
on
an
your own.
edge.
yeah.
All right. So back to the schedule. Okay. So Friday night you have, you know, all of the
Power Wheels.
registrations, the Power Wheels, and then people may stay the night, but then you start early morning Saturday, and then what happens?
Saturday, like I said, practice and qualifying. The cornhole tournament starts at like noon. We do have bounce houses all day. I think they start at 11.
Are
The
those
VI
free?
They are free. I think we've got a big obstacle course and
Can I get in?
Yeah.
sure.
perfect.
And they are at the far end of the park, kind
We'll
of.
call those the vintage bounce houses, guys. Stay away. Yeah.
So
Far into the park, so like near the playground area or further?
yeah, no, they're way down at the bottom of the hill. So way down by I guess it'd be the little stream
Okay.
Yes, great.
at the horseshoe. Yeah, past the ball field.
Okay.
So then we do have 6 or 7 races, 3 to 6 o'clock, and then we have a band, the Sprucells,
Nice.
which is Corey Hayner. So we're all looking forward. That'll
He's
be a
a
good
rock
time.
star.
And we do, so that'll be that day's awards on Saturday night during their break, and then Sunday we start again at 8 o'clock for practice, and then opening ceremonies we do a parade lap with motorcycles. So if you have your motorcycle, an American flag on the back of that, come on
Oh,
out about
cool.
11 o'clock, and they get to do a
Sweet.
parade lap.
You said 1 o'clock,
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Get your flags,
Get
11
your
o'clock.
flags, and
Get your bikes.
we will kind of kick it off, and I think the first race is 11:30. So
That's on Sunday.
Sunday, and we go till about 6. And then at 2 o'clock that day, we have our adult Power Wheels.
I was gonna ask about that,
Downhill
but
race.
I thought maybe that was like an off chance thing that happened.
Like it happened last year on a
Jimmy Patterson got in it,
Yeah.
and Tony Dunker maybe. There was a couple guys. That is something I don't want to miss.
Yeah.
I can't do it because I'm accident prone and I'll need a bubble for myself. But
Next
it
year
is
we
so
are
hilarious.
signing you up to do it.
No,
Yeah.
not unless you're on the back. Yeah, forget about it. But it's such a fun weekend for literally everyone. I don't care if you're a gearhead. I don't care if you have ever watched go-karting before. I don't care if you even know Jeff Scott. I don't care if you know South Park. It is probably one of the most exciting and fun events that this community has, I feel like, rallied together to carry out throughout the years, even if there were a
Yes.
couple breaks. But
So, the park district can track you while you're in the parks. Last year, they said we had 15,000 people between the 2 days.
I believe it.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
But I recall the crowds of the 90s, and I said, this kind of had that same feel. Like there was a
You
ton
think
of
the
people
crowds
there.
were about that big?
Yes.
I
Wow.
would say, of course, I
Yeah,
was
but-
little, so they looked bigger.
Right.
But it was insane walking in. Like you felt like you were in kind of another world. I was used to going to South Park, but going to South Park at these events, it was like, oh my gosh.
That's
it's
how I
so
felt
neat.
as an adult last year.
Yeah.
But
It could be intimidating when you first walk in, but again, if you see people, I mean, you'll know who's working there. You'll know who's security. Just ask them where to go. There's, of course, going to be VIP.
We have a VIP area. It is catered both days. Comes with VIP parking, VIP bathrooms. We've got
I keep
big
highlighting
grills.
the bathrooms
Bathrooms.
aspect because I was like, that's the best part. I didn't know it came with parking, and then you said it does come with food.
Yeah, catering both days.
And they get a hold of Tammy, right?
Yep. There's contact info. We've got
We'll go ahead and pull that up here right now to get you that. And contact Tammy. There's still VIP passes then?
Yep. We have
Okay.
about 30 tickets left.
Sweet. That's awesome. Because
And
there's
there's
only,
a-
I think, 100.
There's a VIP bar, so you don't have to. Like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where I'll
there's
be
lines.
serving.
See
There's-
what I'm saying?
Hi, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Yeah, Underbrinks. We're gonna have some of their desserts
What?
there too. Yeah.
Sold.
I know. I might not even race. I might just be in the
You're
VIP
lying.
tent.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
you're
lying.
right.
It's in
You're
your
right.
blood,
Underbrinks
Jeff,
and
yeah.
drinking Busch Lights. Thank you, Ranella, for sponsoring that too.
Yeah.
Yes, the sponsors, the community is definitely stands behind it.
Yeah.
Our title sponsor is Roburn Phillips, attorney at law.
Friends of
And,
ours.
I love
Yes.
Robert.
They-
And Phillips, sorry, but he's my neighbor. Sorry.
Yeah, that's without sponsors like that, it'd be tough to pull this event off. So.
Yeah.
Very cool. And
Real
I-
quick registration. We haven't touched on
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
Can you still get registered?
Yes.
So this is dropping, tomorrow. We will be 2 weeks away exactly from when you're seeing this. So registration.
Calm down, Jack.
Yeah, that makes me
Calm
nervous.
down. All you have to do is take some practice laps, right?
Yeah, no practice laps.
I'm kidding. He has so much stuff to do.
I know.
But that's what it takes to pull this off. Okay, so registration. You can still register.
Yes.
So all these street racers that want to go fast.
Go do it. If you don't have a go-kart,
Margay out of St. Louis, they do have an arrive and drive where basically you can pay them to rent a cart and they will furnish it and put you under their tent. And so that is an option.
there you go.
Awesome.
And if you want more information on that, of course, go to the Facebook page. reach out to Jeff. A lot of cool opportunities. I feel like my husband's going to want to do this, and I'm going to have to.
Tell him no.
No,
No,
I'm
you're
not going to tell
not.
him no, but I'm going to be like, just tell me when you're racing so I can look the other way, maybe, just because I get a little freaky.
Yeah, my wife, she, because my kids and I both race, and it's 1.1 miles around. So you see us go by, and then
It's a blink of a second.
2 of us go by, and the other one doesn't. She's like,
See?
that's the longest wait.
Oh, okay, but it's also exhilarating. So I can imagine that's why all of the racers do it, for the adrenaline, for the competition, the friendly competition, the camaraderie. I think it's like it's all of it together. Which I think is so
It's
neat.
unique.
Yeah.
We're all friends until we put our helmets on. So yeah, then
And it's on.
It is on
Yeah.
for sure.
Love it.
Yeah, and it's
First, you're last.
This-
Right, pal.
yes.
Is that
definitely.
really the-
Oh yes.
Is that really the MO?
Yeah.
Well,
unless
my
you're in
son and
the-
I definitely
Like you don't think to yourself if you got second, yes.
No,
you
we're
wanna
talking
win
to
it.
men here. Do you have women?
So we added a women's class this year, Queen of the Park.
Oh shit!
Right
Brett.
now, I don't understand. We have 2,
Oh.
and they're both from the Quincy area. One is Livia from Camp Point. She's been racing locally for years.
How
and
old do you
she-
have to be again? 18, right?
18.
Okay.
Okay. So Olivia
And my daughter Avery, and she's like, I don't want to just. She doesn't want to.
she wants
do
to
that.
she wants more racers. So
Yes.
hear that.
Can she go in, or is it intersex in the other ones?
No,
Like-
they always race with the boys.
Okay.
The men. And actually, Kerry Anders from Quincy Driving School came to me in the
Okay.
winter. He's like, "Why don't you have a women's class?" And I was
Yeah, I love
like,
Carrie.
"I don't know why we don't have a women's class. There's nowhere in the country."
Yeah.
For Carters, I was like, "Well, that's a great
So
idea."
is that really that we're the first?
We're the first women's only
Oh,
event.
wow.
Yes,
Dude,
And Avery's
how
going to be a
freaking
part
cool.
of it.
she is.
All right,
That's
so
pretty
Avery
cool.
and Olivia, they of course want more female racers. So let this be the call to you to sign up if you want to be the queen of the track. Also, just if you're not going to get involved as far as racing, which you may not have the cojones or the ovaries for it, but go watch. Obviously, it's going to be an insane event, no matter if you have ever gone to one before or not. Great thing to do during the summer. Now, you mentioned your kiddos, okay, of course, right? Avery included. Father's Day is coming up.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about your kiddos for just a second.
Okay. Well, they're all getting old. I think I have, right now.
That means you're getting old.
So I have 2 biological and 2 stepsons.
Okay. You call those bonus, right?
Yeah,
They're
bonus
sons.
kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now I have 2 21-year-olds and 2 23-year-olds.
Wow.
I know, right?
Really?
Yes.
And how are they? How involved are they in your legacies, your endeavors?
So my daughter works full time at Scotty's, kind of a manager, and I keep teaching her.
Avery, right?
Avery,
Okay.
yeah, I keep teaching her more and more. She's like, "Oh, Dad, I can't." I'm like, "Yeah,
Now, is
you
she
can
the
do
cute
more."
dancer?
What's that?
Is she cute dance? Or is that the other one?
No, that's my niece.
Okay,
That's
all right,
Kirsten.
okay. Never mind, sorry. Didn't
That's
mean to
okay.
interrupt.
And my son is kind of interested in it, but I'm just juggling balls sometimes with him, so he'll eventually be there too, I think.
I see you always include Avery in some of your posts when you get new games or whatever attractions. Is she the one that's like pushing for those? Like, Dad, we need to get this or anything
No,
like
but
that?
normally she's the one that has to uncrate it and help put it together.
So that's why you're
Yeah, when it's
hey, just letting you know.
2,500 pounds and it's in 3 pallets, and I'm like, "Hey, look what came in today," and she's like, "Oh my goodness."
I love how you do
That's
it in the Facebook post too. Just let you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
So,
it's-
Any big plans for Father's Day? Obviously.
Yeah, I try to get away from work.
Are you going to take the day off? I mean,
Probably not the whole day.
come
Last year we went, my kids and I, we went golfing, played a round of golf, and I used to golf all the time, but now I don't. But it was fun because nobody wanted to be on Dad's team because Dad doesn't golf as much as they do.
Dad
well, then,
sucks, is what he's saying.
No, but then they found out Dad's really good because I eagled the second hole by myself, and I'm like, I don't even need you kids.
Psych! Yeah, psych!
Yeah,
That's
so-
awesome. Well, I think that, obviously anything you touch kind of turns to gold. So I have no doubt that this year is going to be amazing as well. But probably that's because you dot every I and cross every T, which you are known for. very, very cool. I recommend everybody go check out the Grand Prix of Karting in Quincy. I also just want to say happy Father's Day and thank you for everything you bring to our community. Of course, we didn't touch much on Scotty's, but that's a whole nother can of worms, right? So
Yes.
you have your hands full, but you seem to juggle it all very well, and just so thankful to have you as a part of our community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks for being a part of the Muddy River crew and sponsoring with us.
Yeah,
You
man.
really do help us out. The birthday of the month is something that's, I think, a joy for everyone to see. And I think the prize is pretty kick-ass, if you ask me.
Yes.
You are very generous. Thank you for that.
Yeah, appreciate you. Continue doing what you're doing. Keep on keeping on. Happy Father's Day. Go check out everything that you can. South Park. When is the weekend again?
June 28th, 29th.
June 28th, 29th. If you need more information, hit up Facebook, call Jeff. He's not busy at all, so he can answer your phone call, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jeff
Happy
Scott.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all of you.
Dad.
Oh, namely our husbands,
Yeah.
our dads, right?
We appreciate you.
We wouldn't be where we are without you, so happy
Thank
Father's
you.
Day. We love you so much.